Welcome again to Cottage Talk. I am Russ Goldman. This is my preview of Fulham's match against Brighton Hove Albion at Craven Cottage on Saturday. I'm very much looking forward to it. I want to see if Fulham can build on their victory against Manchester United. Fulham are heading in the right direction, but things can change very quickly. If you are a supporter of Fulham, you do know that. So I'm going to be sharing my 5 keys to victory coming up. As always, please do subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. It does help other Fulham supporters find us. Okay, so before I go and talk about the match and preview the upcoming game for Fulham against Brighton Hove Albion, I do want to mention the Fulham Lillies. I would highly recommend becoming a member of the Fulham Lillies. Please do go to fulhamlillies.co.uk. And you can actually become a member. I'm going to read a little bit from their website about the Fulham Lillies. Okay, here it is. Fulham Lillies is a female-run supporters group for women and their allies who love Fulham Football Club. Our aim is to give Fulham female supporters and allies a voice within our football club and to encourage and promote a more diverse fan base. Fulham Lillies welcomes all who support Fulham and support our vision. Membership is free. Joining will give you the option of signing up for email updates, a yearly Zoom call, a closed member-only WhatsApp group, and access to raffle draws for Fulham match tickets. Okay, so if you're interested, please go to fulhamlillies.co.uk/membership. And I can tell you one thing, they are looking for American Fulham Lillies, so please do join up. They are a wonderful group, and it is completely free. Okay. Well, let's get to the show, and let's start with my 5 keys to victory heading into this huge match for Fulham against Brighton Hove Albion, a team I have much respect for. Let's start with number 5, and this is a big one because Brighton Hove Albion, I know, are dealing with several injuries, but they're going to have some players back. Matoma's not playing. That's a plus, but they're still going to put Fulham under pressure. They're going to still try to control the play. Both teams are going to have their opportunities. So number 5 is the back 4 must play error-free. And I feel more confident about this with Bassey and Tosin. If they're your starting center backs, I do expect them to be your starting center backs. But as we've seen, Castagna can make a mistake. Anthony Robinson certainly can. But against this team, they can't afford it. So if Fulham want to get all 3 points at home at Craven Cottage, they're going to have to play mistake-free at the back. That's why that's my number 5. Number 4, Sasa Lukic needs to replicate his performance against Manchester United. Before I go into a lot of detail about Lukic, I just want to give him credit for what he has done. It has not been probably the career he wanted it to be, his time at Fulham. But now he's getting this opportunity to really shine. And I do believe he will start in this match. And I have faith that he can get things done. Without Paulinho, I think Fulham need both Reed and Lukic. But I'm going to focus on Lukic because I think he has a chance to build on what he had already done in the last match. He ran the show. He was a man of the match type of player in that game against Manchester United. Several people had him as their man of the match, and I understand why. He was just so fluid, moved the ball forward, and did just a wonderful job in controlling the play in central midfield. He is needed for Fulham to get all 3 points, so that's why he's my number 4. Lukic needs to replicate his performance against Manchester United. Number 3, Alex Iwobi needs to force his will on the opposition. We've now seen, again, the impact of Alex Iwobi. I know he came off the bench against Aston Villa, but starting is where you need him. And I expect him to have a huge impact on this match. He just basically, his energy and his play, his link-up play with his teammates, the way they play together is so vital to how Fulham want to play. So for me, Alex Iwobi really needs to take charge because the team, in my opinion, feed off that. He affects so much of Fulham going forward, but he also plays a role defending as well. But more importantly, it's what he does when he gets the ball and really affects his teammates in such a positive way. Truly believe Alex Iwobi needs to have one of his men of the match kind of matches, and I expect it from him. That's why that's my number 3. Number 2, Rodrigo Muniz has to continue to be a force up front. Now, this came out of nowhere for many Fulham supporters. We saw a glimpse of this in the beginning of the season, and then he got injured. Rodrigo Muniz really has gone from, you could say, maybe a 4 or 5 type of performance to anywhere between a 7 to a 9. That's how much of a jump he has made in a very short period of time. The confidence is just through the roof with him. He's not Mitro, but he is playing the Mitro role so well right now. Very dangerous on corners. We've seen that, but it's beyond that. His hold-up play, getting his teammates involved, it's just beyond my expectations of him. I never thought he would get to this point. He really has, and I want to give him full credit for that. But he's also scoring goals. He didn't score a goal in the last match, but he was unlucky, honestly, because he was creating these opportunities. And I expect that to continue. He's a player in form, and I'm really feeling good about him. I expect him to have a big game against Brighton Hove Albion. That's why Rodrigo Muniz is my number 2 key to victory for Fulham against Brighton Hove Albion. Okay. Coming up next is my number 1 key to victory for Fulham against Brighton Hove Albion, followed by my starting 11, what I think Marco's going to do, and my prediction for the match. Okay. My number 1 key to victory for Fulham against Brighton Hove Albion, it begins and ends with the Fulham manager. Marco needs to win the coaching battle. He destroyed Ten Hag. He was such a factor setting Fulham up to succeed against Manchester United. He needs another one of those against a very good manager for Brighton Hove Albion. He really is. So he's going to have his work cut out for him. He's got a lot of decisions to make. Do you play the same starting 11? Do you go with the same philosophy? Basically, do you change how you play? Because Fulham played more narrow against Manchester United instead of really getting the ball out wide. Do you change things? Do you go back to what served you well with these triangles out wide? Do you go back to that, or do you play narrow again? These are decisions he has to make, along with getting that starting 11 right, making the right substitutions. I want to say he got that right. He pulled all the right levers against Manchester United. He's going to need to do that again against De Zerbi for Fulham to get all 3 points. If Marco and his staff set Fulham up correctly to win, they have a very good chance of getting all 3 points. He has played a huge factor in his time with Fulham, but it really showed itself against Manchester United. When you have a manager that just puts your players, just set up them to really get all 3 points, then it just becomes about execution, the players going out and executing the plan. That's what you saw against Manchester United. Hopefully he will have the right plan in place to beat Brighton Hove Albion. It's a different kettle of fish, as someone told me. They play differently. So will it be a different strategy this time around? Will it go back to what we've seen for the majority of the season, or it will be the strategy against Manchester United? We shall see. But that's what excites me. But Marco is a huge key in this match. He's my number 1 key to victory against Brighton Hove Albion. Okay. So to end the show, I'm going to go to my starting 11. Marco's starting 11, what I'm thinking he's going to do in my prediction for the match. So this is what I would do for the starting 11. I would go with Leno, Castagna, Robinson, Bassi, and Tosin. On the left, I'm going to go with Iwobi. On the right, I would go with Wilson. In the middle, Lukic, Reed, Pereira, and Muniz up front. Yes, I'm going with the starting 11 from the Manchester United match. Maybe that's not a smart move, but that's what I'm going to do. That's going to be my starting 11. What I think Marco is going to do is I think he is going to change it up just a little bit. What I mean is that I think if Willian is fit, Willian will play on the left, and then Iwobi will play on the right, meaning that will see Harry Wilson drop out. That's what I see being the change. Basically, I think Willian would have that effect where just one player would be out, but I think it just changes how Fulham are going to play. I think if Willian plays, I think then Fulham revert back to how they usually play. If he doesn't play, it'll be interesting. It really will be. But I'm fascinated by this matchup. But that's what I think Marco's going to do. Just the one change, but it would be significant. Willian on the left, and then you take out Wilson and you move Iwobi over. That's what I think is going to happen, but we shall see when we see that starting 11. Okay, time for prediction. So I'm feeling obviously pretty positive after the Manchester United victory. I've watched the match now 7 times, pretty much once a day. I've just enjoyed myself watching it back. And I do hope Fulham can build on what they've already done. It's, again, they're going against a very good side, but they have a lot of injuries. Fulham have a couple key players out. Obviously, Paulinho is out of this match. And then, of course, you don't have Raul Jimenez, but you got Muniz playing well. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 Fulham victory. That's what I'm going to go with. I generally like to give myself a little bit more space, saying 3-1, but I think it's going to be very tight because I have a lot of respect for Brighton Hove Albion. They have some very good players. But I'm going with a 2-1 Fulham victory against Brighton Hove Albion at Craven Cottage on Saturday. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Cottage Talk. As always, please do subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. It does help other Fulham supporters find us. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. My name is Russ Goldman. Thank you as always for watching and listening to Cottage Talk, part of the talkSPORT Fan Network.